data on how many vaccinated Americans were able to contract COVID anyway. Why they say the numbers are good news.
Business boost. The NFL draft is less than 2 weeks away. How local bars and restaurants are preparing and why they think this is going to be a big kickoff to summer. And a run on real estate. The market in Cleveland is hot. Why so many houses are selling for top dollar and how Clevelanders are cashing in. Stay with us. What's New starts right now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Well, happy Friday, everyone. We made it to the end of a very long week. And if you're looking at your screen and going, wait a minute, they're not in their normal places. No, we are not. Believe it or not, the folks here at 3 News are going to be giving us brand spanking new lighting in our main studio. We have a crew that is working in there, so they kicked us out of the studio, so we're all scattered across the building. But nonetheless, Jay, you're still stuck with me, my friend. I hope you are having a beautiful Friday afternoon.
I am, Betsy. Thank you very much. Great to be with you again. With Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. I hope everybody at home is having a wonderful Friday. Thanks so much for choosing What's New. We begin this afternoon with news that the family of Tamir Rice is now asking the Department of Justice to reopen its investigation into the shooting death of then 12-year-old Tamir Rice. That shooting happened in 2014, a case where officers were never charged. Brandon Simmons is here with the details. Brandon, good afternoon.
Yeah, hi, Jay. This is probably one of the most infamous events in our city over the last decade, the shooting of Tamir Rice by Officer Timothy Lohman, helping spark the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, that shooting happened in 2014, as you said, where Tamir Rice was shot within seconds of officers arriving at a park where he was holding a toy pellet gun. Now, the responding officers were never charged in that case, and a federal civil rights investigation into the case was recently closed at the end of last year without charges. But the family and their attorneys say the federal case was closed for political reasons and not based on the facts of the case. And for that reason, they're asking the new administration under President Joe Biden to take a closer look.
We hope, and the Rice family hopes, that this administration's stated commitment to civil rights will cause it to listen to the guidance of the career Civil Rights Division prosecutors who wanted to convene a grand jury and conduct a proper investigation.
Now, so far, they've yet to receive a response from that letter sent to the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland. But Chandra, one of the family's attorneys, says ideally they'd like to see federal charges brought into Tamir Rice's death. Now, we reached out to the attorney for the former officer who fired that fatal shot, but haven't heard back yet. We're also awaiting a response from the Justice Department on what will happen next, Jay, if anything.
Brandon Simmons live tonight on What's New. Brandon, we'll see you again at 6 with with more on What Matters Most. We also have new information tonight on a mass shooting that killed 8 FedEx employees plus the gunman. This happened in Indianapolis last night. Happened around 11 o'clock. Police say the man started shooting pretty quickly after getting out of his car. 4 other people were shot and another was injured. All of them were taken to the hospital. Police are currently searching the suspect's home, looking for clues into why he opened fire.
Well, now on to your feed at 5. There's a new study out about the number of Americans who got COVID after getting vaccinated. Our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, joins us now to break it all down for us. And Monica, this is information that I've truthfully been waiting for because you have been telling us all along, even if you get the vaccine, you can get COVID. It just kind of takes the punch out of it a little bit. So people are getting COVID despite the vaccine as predicted, yes?
Yes, but let's put it in perspective. Okay. We know the vaccine is our best weapon to get us out of this pandemic, but it may be better than we expected because out of nearly 77 million Americans who were vaccinated, the CDC found just 5,800 breakthrough infections, meaning 58 people who were fully vaccinated still got COVID. And you know, that's a very, very low percentage, well under 1%. Early studies showed Pfizer and Moderna, the vaccines given out the most so far in the U.S. We're about 95% effective. So this number is even better than that. And in an email statement to NBC, a CDC spokesperson said the majority of people with breakthrough infections were not hospitalized. 29% had no symptoms whatsoever. 65% of the cases were in women, and just over 40% were in people ages 60 and up. Now, 7% of these people were hospitalized, and 74 people did die.
There are several things we know about breakthrough infections. They happen with every vaccine. Every vaccine we've ever used, we do, as you say, there's no vaccine that's 100% effective. But 5,800 out of 77 million, that's pretty small. That's a pretty small number. And we also know that in these breakthrough infections, as we've heard about them here locally, the cases are very mild.
Now, the CDC plans to start publishing data on breakthrough infections this Monday, but we don't know yet if it's going to be specific to each state, but it probably will. And even though the percentage is very low, it also explains why health experts are still saying even those fully vaccinated still need to wear masks in public settings. And as the variants spread more, it's possible more breakthrough infections may happen. Now, here in Ohio, there were 154 cases of breakthrough infections with 14 hospitalizations, but no deaths reported, Bets.
Monica Robbins, always our voice of reason and always one to give context to numbers. We so appreciate that. Thanks so much, Monica. Have a great weekend. Jay?
Sure. You too.
Well, the excitement continues to build here in Cleveland as our city gears up to be the epicenter of the NFL world for 3 days. The excitement now less than 2 weeks away. The NFL draft kicks off a week from yesterday, and crews are making more progress on the main stage. It is really coming together now and beginning to look like the home of the 2021 NFL draft. And what this means for local bars and restaurants, well, they are expecting an influx of customers. They are ready for what could be very heavy crowds. And with it, big money during one of football's biggest weekends. Our January Keaton has more.
It only happens once a year, and this year it's Cleveland's turn to host the NFL Draft. The Browns finally got their man, Jadeveon Clowney, and many of you will head out to your favorite bar to watch who else gets picked up. Add a couple of cold ones, and things might start to feel a bit more normal this year for football fans.
And last year, we were kind of withheld from having that experience as a whole, just Americans in general who love football. So, we get to actually experience it now in one of the greatest cities, in my opinion.
Last year, the draft was done via video conference thanks to COVID. But this year, restaurant and staff are hyped up for the real deal.
We got to be ready. We handled the St. Patrick's Day rush and, the Cleveland home opener rush really well.
But still being safe about it, of course.
We have dividers and the tables are distanced and we're only seating seats. So, we don't have any standing room anywhere, even on the patio.
And if hotels are any indicator of how many folks will be flooding downtown, restaurants and bars should do all right during the draft. Emily Lauer with Destination Cleveland tells me downtown hotels are already filling up. Beyond the rooms the NFL reserved for its people, hotels are set to run at about an 80% occupancy rate during the draft. Compare that to the 20% occupancy average since COVID began last year. That's 4 times the bookings. Sure to bring in some big bucks.
It should be a really good time for everybody to come downtown and really kind of give downtown a kind of rebirth of fun.
Now, just a little trivia for you. It's really not trivia. I mean, you could totally Google this, but it's really interesting. The 2018 draft was held in Dallas. That generated $125 million for the city. And the 2019 draft that was held in Nashville generated a record-breaking $224 million brought into that city. So let's just hope Cleveland can do the same thing. These restaurant owners could really use it.
All right, January Keaton, live tonight, January. Thank you very much.
Oh, man, if you've been here for about 20 years, you know exactly what that sound is. That, not an alien invasion. No, it's coming from above. But it's been brewing under the surface for 17 years. Billions of brood X cicadas are set to emerge in parts of Ohio, Tennessee, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, as well as New Jersey. It looks like Northeast Ohio is actually going to miss most of them, as Southwest Ohio near Cincinnati is expected to have the most. Jay, do you remember the cicadas from 17 years ago? I certainly do. Their little casings, or whatever they were called, their body parts, were left all over the place. It's great for fertilizer, but dang, they are loud little critters for sure.
They are, and I didn't live in Ohio during the last outbreak of cicadas, but obviously I was here for a couple previous, and I remember when I was young seeing those little shells, whatever's left over, all over the place. That was my first introduction to cicadas, and it really is kind of a welcome sign, I think. It just reminds me of being young again. Now, I know that on the map there it shows that we're not included. Does that mean that we won't see any at all, or does it mean we won't see a lot of them?
Oh, we're going to have cicadas, don't worry, because that brood X from 17 years ago, they did have their eggs here and whatnot. But yeah, we will have some. We just won't be getting the biggest number of them. I think Southwest Ohio gets to bear the brunt of that.
All right, very cool. Look forward to that. Bets, thanks. Next on What's New, it's all about color. The new ways people are infusing it into their homes and the latest home remodeling trends, big this spring. Then Chrissy Teigen is back. We're going to tell you why the model has ended her retirement from Twitter. Did anyone really think she could stay away for good? And it's Friday, and that means Matt Standridge is in for weather. Matt, what's coming up in the forecast?
Hey, Jay, we still have a lot of clouds out there, but if you look off in the distance, there is a little bit of sunlight. Places towards the Sandusky area, the islands, we're starting to get a little bit more sun as the sun continues, of course, to set. But this weekend, overall, not too bad. We'll have a lot of clouds. We're going to talk about that forecast, but your outdoor forecast this evening, if you're headed out, it's still going to be chilly. We're in the 40s, so unless you got a heat lamp, you may want to stick to the inside the seating menu. But otherwise, temperature is going to be 40s tonight. We should be mostly on the dry side now. We'll let you know if we got any more rain chances this weekend. That's all coming up.
Thank you, Matt. I'm looking forward to that forecast. And, you know, looking forward to getting some food here, too. Save Our Sauce takes us to Sinato's in Rivergate Park near downtown Cleveland this afternoon. This family-run Italian eatery has been around since 1972, serving up pies with a chewy, buttery crust. If you haven't had their calzones, you are missing out. They do heap in the cheese, lots of quality toppings. Our Doug Tratner has a list of his favorite pizza joints up now on WKYC.com/Save Our Sauce.
Welcome back to What's New. Spring is here, even if the weather doesn't exactly feel like it today. And if you're anything like my wife, the change of season is always a great reason to change inside decor.
Definitely.
Not that she needs a reason, but that works.
I agree with her completely. And we are not just talking spring cleaning either. Our friends at Ashley Clark Interior Design Group show us what's new in home decor this spring.
We have a lot of fun with color here at our studio, but we're seeing it a lot all around in everybody's homes, and they're doing it a little bit differently, which we enjoy. So rather than just bringing the color in the pillows or your rugs, you're starting to see it in your plumbing fixtures, your appliances, your countertops, cabinetry, all over. This pink plumbing fixture is great for your bathroom. I would say a powder room is perfect for this. You can bring in some pink floor tile as well. And then add some fun wallpaper, because wallpaper is not going anywhere. We've talked about it in the past. It is not going anywhere. The next one over by Carly you see is the yellow faucet. There are two things behind it that are huge right now. The lighter color wood flooring and darker countertops. So this is something that's changed drastically from the past 10 years. It used to be just white and gray, very light countertops. Now we're going darker, we're going a little more matte rather than the polished. I love the way that it's kind of contrasting with all the white cabinetry that you see, or the colored cabinetry. And then we just added a fabric for a window treatment as well. The next trend that we see a lot is mixing of styles. So this is huge. It's my personal favorite. We're taking things like this mid-century modern table, and we're adding it with different styles. For instance, this dining chair. We have caning, a little more organic. We're seeing this a lot. It used to be modern infused with traditional. We're seeing the opposite now. So we're seeing somebody take traditional styles and infuse it with modern elements. And the way it's looking, it looks amazing. It just is helping everybody transition their pieces right into the next phase of design.
My favorite trend would be color blocking. So literally you're taking one color and bringing every shade of that color together. So you can do it in books like we have here. You can add pillows, you can add blankets, anything that you can accessorize with. Yes. Color block.
And if you've seen us in the past, you know these are the #1 home accessory to us. We lay them down, we put candles on them, we put photo frames. They literally are the most versatile and inexpensive home accessory that you can purchase.
Yep.
All right, we hope you enjoy our spring trends. Until next time.
Bye.
How about that? Books, the #1 home accessory you can purchase. You can get them at thrift stores, garage sales, yard sales, grandma's basement, work. You just don't know where they're going to come from.
Yeah, my wife's been using books in decor for probably a decade. And here's the thing. I know that faucets are recently, that's all cyclical. I think the bathroom and kitchen industry changes it up just to keep their profits rolling. But do you see, Bets, that the gold fixtures now are back in? I'm not a fan of those. I'm just not, but they're back.
Black, too, and now these colors.
Yes.
Jay, I think you need a pink faucet in the man cave. I think you should go there. Trend set.
That probably won't happen. I'm just saying that not for me. I mean, maybe it's right for others, but not for me.
Yeah, well, the good news is spring has definitely sprung. Matt Standridge joining us now for our forecast. And Matt, it's been one of those days where a lot of folks are just kind of looking around and going, ugh, when is this going to change? There have been a few peaks of sun, but there's better news on the horizon, too.
I think you're definitely right. Betsy, it makes a huge difference if you do get some of that sun, even a little bit. And we've been talking about this, when we all discuss the forecast, but with that high sun angle this time of year, if you can get some clear sky, at least for a second, your temperature will warm up. We have a big difference from west to east. Some folks are in the 50s right now, other folks barely into the 40s. But I want to take you right to the weather maps this evening. What's going on? We're watching two low pressures right now, kind of surrounding Ohio. You see the eastern one right off the coast of New England, and that's one reason why we keep getting all these clouds and a stray shower towards the snow belt, extreme northeast Ohio. And then we're watching towards the west in the Ozarks. They also have some rain going on. But I think with this system, that'll slowly track towards the east, mainly just south of us. We could get a stray sprinkle out of this tomorrow, but I think overall the rain chances look pretty low overall for this weekend. Can't rule out a stray shower or a raindrop, but most of the time I think we're going to be mainly dry. Now looking here at home, you go further east, the clouds are really thick over Portage County, Ashtabula County. Westbound though, Huron County, Erie County, we get, again, a little bit of sun. I mean, that's why we're in the low 50s. It's 53 in Mansfield, 51 in Ashland. But then once you get closer to the thicker clouds, you go back into the 40s, and we're barely into the 40s right now in Ashtabula. But all of us will cool down a little bit later this evening. I think we'll probably bottom out somewhere in the upper 30s as you're waking up on your Saturday morning. But the good news, like Betsy was just talking about, I think everyone should be able to get into some of those mid-50s tomorrow. There could be a few more peaks of sun, so that's what we're looking forward to. And so that'll be pretty nice. Once again, just a stray shower maybe south of the turnpike. That'll be about it. Overall, you can see the rain chances throughout the whole weekend are going to be very low. 20% chance? It's not very much, right? For Saturday, maybe a 30% chance on Sunday afternoon, but overall, our chances are going to be pretty weak. Houston National Time, our hour-by-hour forecast. So it's chilly this evening. If you are headed out, make sure you still bundle up. Temperatures, once again, will get into the 30s overnight. And we'll probably stick with the on and off clouds throughout Saturday. There will probably be some breaks here and there, but overall, I think we may get a little bit more cloud cover than sun, but we'll be watching that. And the same goes for Sunday, too. I think this Sunday isn't a loss. We're definitely a little bit warmer, back into the 50s, Jay. So I feel like sometimes I'm doing the forecast to try to help people plan their weekend, but I also do the forecast to help you plan when to mow. And I think you're going to have several chances throughout this weekend, but it may not be as nice as some of our past weekends. We'll be in the 60s, we'll be in the 50s. Also, Jay, looking forward towards next week. Our next big system comes in Tuesday. And as temperatures drop, we may be talking about some snowflakes too, but we'll be detailing that forecast a little bit more coming up.
Yeah, I saw that S word on Wednesday. Not loving that, Matt. I hope that changes by the time it gets here. Matt, thanks. We'll see you in about 30 minutes. Coming up next on What's New, a popular Netflix show will be minus one popular cast member when it comes back. We're going to tell you the show, the disappearing star, and the reason why. That's next in Pop Break. Plus, our Worth the Watch involves a chipmunk. You're going to want to stick around to see just how many nuts this guy took away.
Hi, my name is Kiera. We're going to be talking about Chrissy Teigen and her return to Twitter. It's going to be a blast. Thank you.
It is time for our Friday edition of Pop Break. We have new details on the Pete Davidson relationship rumors. Plus, what's next for John Stamos? Here's Kiara Cotton with our week-ending Pop Break.
If you were hoping to see more of John Stamos' character in the upcoming season of You, you're out of luck. According to Stamos, who plays Dr. Nicky on the Netflix hit show, he won't be making a return to season 3, even if the characters could use a good therapist. In the meantime, Stamos has been working on his new show, Big Shot, that premiered today on Disney+. And are they, or are they not? Saturday Night Live's Pete Davidson and Bridgerton's Phoebe Dynevor continue to fuel dating rumors. This time, it's a matching necklace that's causing the frenzy. Davidson wore a necklace with the letters PD on it during an interview on The Tonight Show earlier this month. And during a recent appearance on YouTube, Dynevor wore what appears to be the exact same necklace. Now, while both of their initials are PD, many are saying it's too much of a coincidence, especially after they were spotted together in the UK. Neither party has confirmed this romance just yet. And she's back. Chrissy Teigen has returned to Twitter. It's been 23 days since she departed the social media platform, saying it no longer serves her enough positively. But this morning, she returned with a new outlook, saying, "Turns out it feels terrible to silence yourself. I choose to take the bad with the good." Chrissy is one of the few celebrities that you can always count on for a good laugh, so I'm glad she's back. Jay?
She is very funny, Kira, and I have to say, she did last 22 days longer than I thought she would. When she retired initially, I thought, she'll be back tomorrow. She can't stay away, and she's very funny.
It's
Kira,
a hard
thanks,
thing to do.
and have a great weekend. It is, right? You can't just quit like that. You can't do it, and she proved that. Kira, thanks.
Well, now it's on to our Worth the Watch. We'd like to introduce you to Dinky the Chipmunk. Dinky came when called and, of course, when offered some nuts, started shoving them in his mouth. 7 of them, believe it or not. Dinky is quite the TikTok star. This video alone has nearly 14 million likes. I think that is hysterical. Now, keep in mind, chipmunks do bad things to your gardens and retaining walls and all of that stuff, but at least they're cute.
Yeah, don't I know that? Reminds me of me at the movies when I'm sharing popcorn with someone. I go in, man. I got to get mine. I know. I chew and stuff at the same time. It's not pretty. I'm not
understand. Noted. At least it's dark in that theater, too. Oh, my goodness.
Exactly.
All right. Well, still ahead for us here on What's New. A look at the final preparations that are being made for Prince Philip's funeral this weekend. Plus, the Browns have released defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson. With full details ahead and clicking in Cleveland. And our Mike Polk takes a look at what is going on in Cleveland's crazy real estate market. That's all ahead when we return.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And welcome back to What's New for this Friday, April 16th. Alongside Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. Thank you so much for sticking with us for the second half hour of our program today.
Yeah, and you know, Jay, we always love when Mike Polk joins us, and he's going to be talking about a realtor, or he's talking to a realtor about why the housing market in Cleveland is so intense. Believe it or not, he is also going to be showing us some of the most expensive houses in the area. So that is most certainly going to be very interesting, something to stick around for. But we turn to begin this half hour with 3 things that you need to know. First up, we're learning more about a mass shooting in Indianapolis. Police say a gunman killed 8 employees before killing himself late last night. 4 other people were shot and another was injured. All of them were taken to the hospital. Police say right now it doesn't appear that there was an argument that prompted that shooting. Police are searching the suspect's home for clues into why he opened fire.
And our COVID numbers are down again. That's the 3rd straight day that they are going in the right direction. That offers a little bit of hope that perhaps we have hit a plateau after our 4th spike of cases here in Ohio. Today's number coming in at 2,003. And that actually helps to bring our 2-week average now under 2,000 daily cases. We now stand at 1,984 cases daily over the last 2 weeks. Cases per 100,000 still at 200. The state will issue a new number in that metric next week. And our number of vaccinated Ohioans now stands at 4.3 million, or 36.8% of our total population.
And speaking of vaccines, getting a vaccine just got a little easier. University Hospitals is no longer requiring Ohioans to pre-register before scheduling a COVID vaccine appointment. They're now readily available 24 to 72 hours ahead of scheduling. Now, keep in mind, you still need to schedule by calling 216-400-0429. Again, that is 216-400-0429. At that time, the scheduler will book the appointments for both the first and the second doses. That's great news.
All right, now on to our top talker this half hour. Spring and summer, as many know, are always the busy times of the year for buying and selling homes. But the demand has been far outpacing the supply here in Northeast Ohio for much of the last year, really, making it very much a seller's market. In fact, it's causing multiple offers in most situations. We're seeing bidding wars. It's been a while since we can say that. But some of the area's priciest listings aren't exactly flying off the shelves. Our Mike Polk decided to take a look at what's going on in Cleveland's crazy real estate market.
If you're one of the many greater Clevelanders currently looking to buy a home in the area, boy, have I got a listing for you. This beautiful 4-bedroom, 2-bath estate on the Near East Side is, it just sold. Look at that. No matter. How about this charming, recently renovated home in Birdtown that that one just sold too. This is the one we've been waiting for. Come on. No time for a tour. Give me your money up.
You got to be quick these days, folks. The Cleveland housing market is pretty tight right now, with most properties getting snapped up as soon as they're available, much to the frustration of folks currently shopping for new homes. I met with big-time realtor Michael Boych at this charming listing in the Edgewater neighborhood to find out why.
Tell me why it's so hard to pin down houses right now.
So we have really affordable interest rates hovering around 3% right now. We have a very low supply, and we have a very high amount of buyers in the market.
But while you might have trouble finding moderately priced homes around here right now, there do seem to be plenty of options if you're looking for something a little more extravagant. This regal Georgian revival in Shaker Heights is available. If you're into stuff like magnificent gardens, stone terraces, an in-ground pool, his and her baths and dressing rooms, a private library, and this, and this, and this, you get it. And it can be all yours for just a shade over $3.5 million. Not feeling that one? How about this little honey dipper? Situated on 11 acres in Gates Mills, this is the place for you if you're into stuff like this, and a personal basketball court, and this, and also if you've got $3.9 million burning a hole in your pocket.
Why in general are the pricier, fancier houses lingering longer on the market?
Just because there's less of a market. We have less rich people in Cleveland.
Seems like most of the moderate price houses are going like that.
We're seeing houses with 25 offers in 24 hours.
That's got to be maddening for some of these buyers.
There's no ability to just dip a toe into the water. You've got to dive all the way in and be ready so that when that right house comes up, we're ready to go. We have everything in place.
So I guess it's a pretty tough time for home shoppers right now, unless you're looking for a fetching little hacienda like this one on Harborview Drive, with this, and this, and this, and the indoor pool that's currently listed at, wait for it, $6.5 million.
Do you have advice for people who are getting frustrated if they can't get their home? They're putting in bids and it's just not, somebody's swooping them out from under them. Do you have advice?
Just be patient. Trust the process. Get into the process. We've got to get you educated, we've got to get you pre-approved, and we've got to get you ready to write an offer.
The real estate scene is not for the faint of heart nor the thin of wallet right now. But just remember, if it seems like everything on Zillow is out of your price range, we were still able to find plenty of affordable housing available on Craigslist. This is Mike Polk for 3 News.
Yeah, I imagine you can have a pop-up camper these days for a pretty good price. Betsy, in watching that, I realized that for so long, the real estate industry, I'm sure we've seen, you remember the old real estate shows, they'd typically be on like on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
After watching Mike put his twist on it, I would love to see a real estate show hosted by Mike Polk. I think it would be a hoot, unconventional. I think the industry needs a little shakeup, and Mike Polk might just be the guy to do it.
And this, and this, and this, you know, you get the idea. I just love the way he spins stuff. You know, and anytime you look at those fabulous houses, those multi-million-dollar houses, and you kind of sometimes can't even believe they're here in Northeast Ohio. I love to look at those listings, not to dream or anything like that, but I love to get ideas, decorating ideas, and see how they did this. You know, do it like the rich folks do it. All right, I'm gonna take that, and I can make it the cheap way, and I can put that in my house, and you get the best ideas out of it. So it's a really fun way to do it, and kind of ties in with our interior decorating story we had not too long ago too.
Exactly. I also want part of Mike's real estate show to go to homes like that and interview the people and just ask them one question. We all ask it when we drive through neighborhoods like that. What in the world do you do for a living? Yeah. Where are you getting all of this money? Right? I think we need to know.
Definitely. And how do you afford the taxes? Woo! Because you know they're paying some hefty taxes. So maybe we should be thanking them along the way, too. All right, let's move on because we have more to talk about. The pandemic has isolated a lot of family units for the last year. But as more Ohioans get vaccinated, extended families are reuniting. And we have been asking you to share your reunions with us. Well, here is a picture from Karen Jack, who told us she and her sister celebrated their mom's 87th birthday with her. Karen said it was the first time she hugged her mom in a year. I got a little choked up the first time I read that. I think that is so beautiful. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, and here's one, Betsy, from Shelley in Amherst. She told us, thanks to the vaccine, she and her kids got to see her grandparents for Easter. It's the first time her kids have seen their great-grandparents since December 2019. She also mentioned that her grandfather spent the pandemic helping others. You see him there on the left. He turns 90 next month. Aww. And Betsy, I can so relate to this because, as you know, my granddaughter Hayes was born last May. She's going to be 1 in a month. And my mother, who lives to dote on children, is yet to hold her granddaughter, great-granddaughter, named Hayes. And you can bet when that reunion finally happens, or that union, my camera will be out.
I can only imagine. I mean, great-grandma versus J-pop. I mean, the odds are pretty close on that. And, you know, I don't know. I think great-grandma might end up winning out despite your affection and your doting on that beautiful little girl. Well, our Feel the Love campaign is still going on, everybody. Please send us your reunion pictures. We'd love to share them. Just use the hashtag reunionson3. So hashtag reunionson3 on social media. You can also upload the pictures and video if you have it to our WKYC app using the Near Me feature.
Yeah. Please send them in. We love them. Well, Prince Philip's funeral taking place tomorrow. We're going to tell you how it will be different because of COVID and who will be there. Then, How does the Jadeveon Clowney signing affect the Cleveland Browns draft plans? We're going to tell you. That's coming up in Clicking in Cleveland. Hey, Matt, what's going on outside?
Hey, Jay, it's good to see you. Man, it's been cloudy and showery the past couple of days, but if you look off in the distance, some of us are going to see a little bit of that sun right before it sets over Lake Erie. I think we've got a decent weekend forecast ahead of us. We're going to break it down for you coming up.
Share these every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Hey, yes I do. Yep. Earlier this week we told you that we launched It's All Good News, and now we need your help. Good? Okay, great. Yeah.
All right, here it is Friday. Temperatures in the 40s, not a lot of sun. And of course, everybody immediately starts to boo-hoo about the weekend. Not going to be a washout for us, though, is it, Matt Standridge?
Doesn't look like it. So, Betsy, that's the good news. In fact, when we've been looking at this weekend, because of course we've been looking towards the weekend the past couple of days, overall those rain chances have slowly been trimmed a little bit. They're still there for this weekend. There will be a chance for an isolated shower, but I do think most of the time will be mainly on the dry side. This evening we're trying to dry out a little bit. We've had still some lingering showers throughout the snow belt here and there, but we're also working on the clouds too, and we'll eventually do that kind of throughout the overnight hours. So by tomorrow morning as you're waking up, we may have more of a mix of sun and clouds rather than kind of be more on the overcast side, which is where we're sitting kind of right now in downtown Cleveland. But western Ohio and even all the way towards Sandusky, we've been getting some sunlight, finally, right? We're in between two systems right now. We've been more impacted by the eastern coastal system right now that's just off the coast of Boston. And we've been getting a couple of those stray showers, some of that cooler air. That one's eventually headed out further towards sea. But you also see our next storm system towards the Ozarks. We have some rain towards Missouri and Arkansas, and they'll most likely just pass barely south of us. So I think we'll be in kind of generally more the clear tomorrow, other than a stray shower. Most of those rain bands will stay closer towards the Ohio River rather than towards the northern half of Ohio, towards Lake Erie. But right now we've been watching some of those sprinkles try to dissipate over time. The clouds are still kind of out there, but we'll try to break them up a little bit. So tomorrow's forecast, still some clouds though. We'll have clouds and sun. I think Most of the time we'll have a few more clouds than sunlight, but we'll definitely get some of those sun breaks, and those sun breaks are what we live for this time of year. I think with those, we'll be able to get to the mid-50s. Here's your National Design hour-by-hour forecast tonight. We'll dip into those 30s, upper 30s for a lot of us, and then as you're waking up tomorrow morning, there could be some clear skies towards the west, but then clouds are going to be building on throughout the day, kind of here and there. So we'll be watching out for that, and once again, a stray sprinkle could be possible, so we'll be watching out for that. Same story going into Sunday, too. But to be honest, this weekend looks pretty mundane, not a lot going on. Mix of sun and clouds, about a 20% chance for a shower. This upcoming week, though, things look a lot more interesting. So we're going to be kind of warming up day by day. Today we're in the 40s, right towards the 50s this weekend. But by Tuesday, our next front will be moving through. And at first, we'll start off with some rain, but then we could try to watch the rain-snow line push its way through and maybe some snow mixing in with rain at times for Tuesday and into Wednesday. So that's kind of our next big weather maker. Until then, Jay, things look pretty quiet when you're looking at the Union Home Mortgage 7-day outlook. In fact, the next 3 days, we're slowly warming up. Mid-50s this weekend, maybe some 60s by Monday. And then we take a bit of a hit middle of next week, and we do have some chances for a little bit of snow mixing in, Jay.
I'm just focusing on that sun and 59 a week from today. That will work. That would be good.
Totally.
All right, Matt, thanks. Well, right now it's time to see what is clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, a very good Friday to you.
Happy Friday to you too, Jay. You know, the Browns continue to make moves with just 2 weeks to go to the 2021 NFL Draft happening right here in Cleveland. And today, the Browns released defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson. He's been very solid on the defensive line his 2 years with the team, playing in every single game, but letting him go saves the Browns $11 million in salary cap space. That's salary cap. With this release, the Browns lose a Pro Bowl defensive lineman, but the Browns gained one in signing Jadeveon Clowney on Wednesday. So how does all of this impact the Browns draft plans this year? Well, our 3 News sports analyst breaks down the team's possible priorities. Coming in at 5th, he ranks linebackers with wide receivers at 4th. Now, this is an interesting one to watch with Odell Beckham Jr. expected back and Khadarel Hodge still a restricted free agent. At 3rd, there's defensive end, and 2nd, especially now with Richardson gone, defensive tackle. Possible first priority, cornerback. We'll see what they do with that number 26 pick in round 1. And earlier this week, we let you know that we launched our brand new YouTube show, It's All Good News, and now's the part where we ask for your help. This weekly show is all about telling your good news stories, so we want to see your cute pets, your incredible reunions, and everything in between, and there's no shortage of ways to share those stories. You can use hashtag GoodNewsCLE on your posts online, probably the easiest way. You can text photos to 216-344-3300. You can email me at goodnews@wkyc.com, and you can use the WKYC app to send pictures and videos. Now listen, this good news show will only be as good as the news you share with us, so make sure you keep it coming. Jay, we are already getting in great submissions, and I cannot wait to share these stories every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. on the WKYC YouTube page.
Stephanie, I think it's a much-needed ray of sunshine. We could all use more good news, and we look forward to it.
Absolutely.
Stephanie, thanks, and enjoy your weekend.
Coming up for us, the final preparations for Prince Philip's funeral are being made. You will be able to watch NBC's special coverage of that ceremony right here on 3. We're going to have details on who will be attending and a timeline for the day, too. Then, firefighters in Cleveland were hard at work when they spotted a furry friend inside. We have the rescue story ahead, and show us something good. But now it's time for our pop quiz. Which of these sports icons is not celebrating a birthday today? Is it Bill Belichick, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Serena Williams? The answer when we come back. Well, before the break, we asked which of these sports icons is not celebrating a birthday today. So the big question is, who is it? And the answer is Serena Williams, not celebrating a birthday today. Just in case you were curious about that, always wondered who else celebrates a birthday on the same day that you do, perhaps. So obviously some very interesting notes there for the calendar, everybody. Well, it is going to be a somber day tomorrow for Britain's royal family, and the final preparations are being made for Prince Philip's funeral. Tomorrow's ceremony will be much smaller than normal because of the coronavirus, but it will still reflect his long life of military and public service. Here's NBC's Keir Simmons with what to expect.
In just over 24 hours, Prince Philip will be laid to rest in St. George's Chapel, a day of family goodbyes, military honours and history. The funeral will begin at 11 a.m., 6 a.m. Eastern, when the coffin will be brought from the private chapel at Windsor Castle to the state entrance. At 2:40 here, 9:40 Eastern, it will be placed in a modified Land Rover that Prince Philip himself created. He had a passion for design. At 2:45, 9:45 Eastern, the hearse will proceed through a route lined by military personnel to arrive 8 minutes later at the west steps of St. George's Chapel, where the Royal Marines will lift the coffin and carry it inside. The funeral will take place at 3 p.m., 10 a.m. Eastern, following a national minute of silence. Buckingham Palace has revealed the 30-person guest list and the formation of those walking behind the hearse. His children, Princess Anne and Prince Charles, will be followed by Prince Edward and Prince Andrew. Coming after will be his grandchildren, Prince William and Prince Harry, though they will be separated by their cousin, Peter Phillips. The two famously walked with their grandfather at Princess Diana's funeral. The Queen will travel in a Bentley behind the procession, and in perhaps the most poignant moment of a day filled with meaning, during the ceremony, she will sit alone.
And the Queen will be alone, of course, because of coronavirus restrictions. In fact, all of the guests, including members of the royal family, will be wearing masks. The Archbishop of Canterbury urging people to have compassion for the Queen, saying that she will, of course, have great dignity, but to remember that she is saying goodbye to her husband of 73 years. Keir Simmons, NBC News, Windsor.
Well, there is a lot of scrutiny that is being kind of focused on the royal family because, of course, Harry returning home after all of the scuttlebutt that's been going on amongst that family. But, you know, a lot of people are trying to make a big deal out of Prince Harry walking separately from his brother. And that is, again, not a big deal. This is that clip that you just saw. And again, Diana's brother, their uncle, walked between them. So it's just a matter of how things are all set up. And this has been planned out for a long time. I think a lot of people don't quite realize that. Maybe there's a few modifications, of course, thanks to coronavirus. But just a reminder, we will be carrying NBC's special coverage of Prince Philip's funeral tomorrow morning from 9:30 to 11:30 right here on 3 News. Jay, it's definitely going to be a very big change for that royal family. I mean, they were married 73 years. That's just incredible.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, it's hard for people to imagine what it's like. I mean, we've all lost loved ones, and we know the grieving process that goes on. Now imagine if the entire world was focusing on how you grieve, where you stand during the service. Are you doing that? You know, it's an incredible burden, and it's something that most of us really don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about, but it's tough enough going through the grieving process as it is. Now the whole world's watching once again. Next on What's New, an outstanding rescue today. You've got to see this video. It comes from our Cleveland firefighters. How they not only managed to save one family, but they also saved a cat inside too. It's incredible. It's next, and it's our show of something good. Then coming up at 6 on What Matters Most, one woman goes to great lengths to lose weight. Not for herself. Will Ewick shares one story of selflessness to help save a complete stranger's life. Again, that's coming up at 6.
was closed this past December. I do. Chris, do you mind if I take a look at it real quick? Thank you. How are you? I can. Thanks, Chris. Now that menu is still up there, just so you'll know.
Hey. Hey, I'm well. How are you? Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check, mic check. That looks funny. Good evening. I'm Laura Queso. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Joined by Russ Mitchell, who's far away. Far, far away. Just a little bit. Thank you.
We wrap up another week of What's New with our Friday version of Show Us Something Good. Comes to us from the Cleveland Fire Department. Today they rescued a 24-year-old cat.
Oh my goodness.
The department was called out to West 83rd Street, I know, right, near Lorraine, for a fire with people and this mama cat inside. Thankfully, everyone got out safe, and a special thanks to Captain Pat Perkins and paramedic Dave Jockers, who saved the cat from the doorway of the fire room, providing her oxygen on scene. That is what firefighters do. And with that, we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us on What's New. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope to see you again Monday at 5.
What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Reopen the investigation. Why Tamir Rice's family is now asking federal prosecutors to reopen a civil rights case against Cleveland police. Deadly attack at FedEx.
This is awful. This is awful.
Another mass shooting last night, killing 8 in Indianapolis. What investigators have learned so far. Summer travel preparations. Why the TSA says it needs workers in Cleveland and it's hiring immediately. Losing weight to donate.
It's like cheeseburger or, save a life, or like rack of ribs or save a life. And like when I compared it like that, it was nothing.
Meet the woman who lost 100 pounds, all to give her kidney to a stranger and to save more than one life along the way.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Laura Queso. We begin tonight with an update on the Tamir Rice case.
His family is asking the Justice Department to reopen its investigation into his 2014 death when he was shot by a Cleveland police officer. That investigation, the first investigation, was closed this past December. The family says it was not done fairly under the Trump administration. Brandon Simmons has the latest.
November 22nd, 2014 is an infamous day here in Cleveland. That's the day officers shot and killed then 12-year-old Tamir Rice outside Cadell Rec Center. Officer Tim Lohman fired the fatal shot within seconds of arriving, Tamir holding a toy pellet gun in hand. The officers involved, Lohman and his partner Frank Garnback, who was driving, never faced